Hey, Manny, Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Tim. Merry Christmas.
Um, I guess was it cartwheels? What was it when you got the word? Can you do a cartwheel? I guess would be a follow-up question.
I'm not going to risk that, trying to get to the bowl healthy. But it was a lot of excitement for sure. Happy for Derek, but obviously happy for our program as well, and what that means for us going forward. And you always want to make you want to see all the players make the best decision for them, but you do want them to feel valued and feel like they can accomplish great things if they come back. So again, it was a big boost for Miami Hurricanes football today when Derek made it official.
I know you're focused on Tuesday. I understand that. You have a bowl game to win, a chance for a 9-win season. A lot of big things on Tuesday. I'm not overlooking that. But when you got the word, was it only natural that your mind wandered a little bit to what this is going to mean for you in 21?
Well, I think to your point, both things can be true because really Tuesday, look, with the way the bowl games are now at times with opt-outs and whatever, bowl games have almost turned into these weird bridges between two seasons anyway. So while you can be excited for what it means for 21, I think there's an excitement for now as well. And our expectation is the way that we've practiced and prepared for this game, and hopefully the way that we play is in line of what our intentions are for next year.
Thank you, Manny.
Coach, we have David Furones from the Sun Sentinel. David, go ahead.
Hey, Manny, Merry Christmas. You mentioned previously about Jafari and Cam having to step up at defensive end for this bowl game, especially with Jalen and Quincy declaring and opting out. I assume they'll start, but then also an opportunity for a guy like Chance Williams. What you think about his outlook for the bowl game, and then going forward, just the whole defensive end lineup for the future of this program.
Yeah, Chance Williams has really done some good things this week in practice. Pat Joyner, as well as an experienced guy that we've liked the way that he's prepared this week, and Zach McCloud, believe it or not, I think Zach's got a future at defensive end. Just watching what he's done this week in practice, where he can just kind of go and come off the edge and have low pads. So it's been exciting seeing all those guys have the opportunity to step up. It's certainly a next man up mentality.
Coach, we've got Susan Miller-Degnan from the Miami Herald. Susan?
Hey, Manny. I wanted to ask you a couple things. One, I wanted to ask you about, do you think whatever funk the defense was in, especially last game, have they kind of snapped out of it as far as you see? I know you've had more time to talk with them and stuff. What's your outlook on that? And then I had something else.
Well, like I said, a couple of things. One, the entire football team was in a funk. Defensively we played terribly, but anytime you have a day like that, I think that hurts your pride. So that the way you come back, the way you practice, the way you work, the way you do anything, if you're any type of competitor, is to put that behind you. So, like I said, we've already played. We've played 10 games. We had 9 games on tape. Not always as consistent as we would like to be defensively, to be certain, but never to the extent that showed up on that day. So. I think we've got a lot of guys that have a lot of individual pride, and I'd expect that they'll make sure they put that performance behind them.
Okay, and then the last thing is Cam Harris tweeted that he will have made a decision on January 1st, but he didn't say what the decision is regarding. What's the situation with Cam Harris?
Decision could be, I don't know, ketchup or mustard. I don't know what he's. Everybody has. Obviously he's a draft eligible junior, right? So, as we know every year, guys, get pulled from different types of directions. And so, we're just trying to get through the bowl game and again, continue to have conversations with all of our guys that are after, coming through their third year in our program, because they have options.
And one quick thing, Jared Harrison Hunt, will he be available for this game? Is he better?
Jared's returned to practice the last 2 days. So he does have a chance to feature. How much we'll see, game day, but certainly we would love to have him back, because he's a big part of our defense.
Thank you.
Coach, we've got Manny Navarro from The Athletic. Manny, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. Merry Christmas again. curious, you mentioned Zach McCloud playing defensive end. I'm wondering, how that sort of came about. Did he bring it up to you guys, something you threw at him? And then also, obviously, he's a guy who could come back the same way Derek did. And have you had those conversations with him or any of the other seniors yet where they've said, hey, coach, I'm definitely coming back next year?
We've had we've had conversations with all the guys in some way, shape, or form. But we've also told them that we're not going to pressure you to make a decision when you want to decide. With a guy like Derek, he wanted to do it before the bowl games. I think kind of just alleviate some of the pressure going to the game and just kind of focus and relax and have fun and go play. But we have told them all, I grabbed the entire group of guys. I mean, guys are facing decisions that no college football players ever face. You never had a chance to play 2 senior years. So, I think, we will sort of circle back with all of our guys and see, hey, whenever you're ready to decide, you tell us. And if you want to come back and now, let us know. And we want to celebrate that with all of our players beyond Derek, because we've seen, you've been around, Manny. I mean, we've seen guys that have made decisions to go that maybe weren't always the best for them, even though they may not have had a choice because of some, things that are unknown. But if guys want to come back to the University of Miami, that's to be celebrated. And I think that's a testament of what we are trying to build here and the experience we give our student athletes here and that they want to be a part of that going forward.
Coach, with Mike Cunha from CBS4. Mike, go ahead.
Coach, on that note, I'm not sure how soon it was when Derek told you his decision to stay, but has there been sort of a Derek King effect that after he announced to the team that he was going to come back, that other players maybe expressed to you that they had excitement about returning as opposed to going pro next season?
That's a possibility. I'm sure it's happening in the locker room without, us having our ears on it. But look, to be quite honest, this has probably been happening for the last few weeks,
Mm-hmm.
And Derek making it official today, I'm sure there's been a process for him coming to that decision that certainly I bet has involved some of his teammates. So, like I said, everyone eventually has to do the decision that is, they feel is best for them and their family. But, certainly there's power in numbers, right? And it does help to know that you've got a guy like Derek coming back, and it can be the, kind of the cool thing to do to come back. So, like I said, I'm just proud of Derek's decision. Everybody else has to make their own, but, the more the merrier.
Coach, we got a couple more for you. We're going to go to Chris Stock at InsideTheU. Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, Coach, I have a few questions. I got to follow up, but and obviously you've talked about Derek, but can you quantify or the impact to having him back? And he spoke on, he feels like he could have a better year next year. Can you maybe speak on what the actual impact is that he's coming back with? And then also to how have practices gone this week in your mind?
Let's start with the practice part. We have practiced well. We need to play well, but we have practiced well. We went full pads last Tuesday, and the question would be, what our guys get after it? And we did inside drill. I mean, we had a proper, almost training camp type practice, and they came to bang. I mean, it was highly spirited and highly competitive. So I was proud of them for that. You see a lot of teams not even wanting to play bowls, so let alone practice for a bowl. They've shown that they want to practice and that they want to play well. There's always a gap between how you practice and that you have to go do it. You have to go play. But we have had a good week of preparation. The other part of your question, Chris, was what?
Yeah, just about Derek again, the impact of having him.
So let's talk about two things. Let's talk about on the field and off the field. Certainly on the field, for Derek himself, first year being in a system 2 years in a row, right? A chance to have a lot of his weapons return. So the chemistry he has. How about having a proper off season? How about having a full spring practice? How about having 7-on-7s in the summer? Players-led 7-on-7s in the summer, and just a chance to really, get chemistry, timing, and all that with your wideouts. The ones we have, the young ones that we have on campus that we think have great futures, and then obviously the 3 that we signed that we really like that are coming in, and then the off the field impact. Look, Derek came in. His leadership skills are obvious. It wasn't. I think everybody knew he'd be a captain on our football team this year, but he still was coming in as the new guy and the outsider. And we had just finished an off-season program and had a week of spring practice, and then we all go sit in our house for 3 months. So the chance for this program to have a leader in that position, and make no mistake, Derek is coming back because he wants to win. He can certainly accomplish goals and throw for these many yards and do these type of things. But De'Aaron, in our conversations, he comes back because he wants to win, and it means a lot because that means he believes that we can win. But there's going to be it's going to be a hell of an off season because we have to make sure that our off season work ethic matches our in season expectations. So when you have a leader like that in the locker room that can help set the tone from day one, instead of like, "Hi, I'm the new guy coming in," like he did in January, that can't help it. It has to help our football team.
And just a quick follow, Avante Williams, I know he's been out there. What was he able to do? Did you get a look at him? And then, is he still not going to play in the bowl game? I know that was announced in August that you wouldn't play him, but since he's been out there, just kind of an update on how he is.
Yeah, Avante has never been cleared for contact. So he's just been doing drills and been able to kind of run around and just sort of do no padded, non-contact stuff. But you watch his movement skills. I mean, just watch him tracking a football in the air and doing those type of things. And you can see, why, he has potential to be elite. But the plan has always been when we come back for the spring semester, he'll be reevaluated. And we'll see what the medical people say from there. Avante's had a really good semester, though, off the field, academically, just gaining a foothold in our program. I've been very proud of even what he's done in the weight room with Coach Feely and transforming his body. It's been fun to watch him grow.
Last two for you, Coach. We're going to go to Andrea Adelson at ESPN. Andrea?
Manny, as a follow-up to what you said about De'Aaron, he mentioned there are several areas where he needs to improve and wants to improve. Where do you want to see improvement for him throughout this offseason headed into next year?
Well, De'Aaron is such a competitor, and he's got such high standards for himself, I'm sure he's not satisfied until, he may never be satisfied with his performance. And Coach Lashley certainly can speak to some of the more nuances of the quarterback position, but, I'm sure there's some things in all aspects of his game that he thinks he can still do better at. I think he thinks he can be better as a runner, believe it or not. And I still think he thinks he can be better as a thrower. So I think just the familiarity with what we're doing in year two in the system and all those things and a great, again, I keep mentioning it, a true proper off season will really, do wonders for De'Aaron.
Last one for you, Coach, is David Lake from InsideTheU. David, go ahead.
Yeah, Coach, you've touched on this a little bit, but just wanted to ask you, in terms of establishing the culture you want, how big is it having a guy like De'Aaron who has the chance to go pro, came back for another year at Miami when, as you know, it seems like more times than not, a lot of guys decide to go pro. And you look at, other programs around the country like Alabama, Clemson, seems like they are able to convince a lot of their draft eligible guys to come back. Just how much of that do you think is a key to success, obviously, and how, do you hope that kind of becomes part of the culture at Miami too, that you're trying to build?
Yes, I definitely, you want to be a program where guys have a chance to go to the draft and don't go unless they really feel like their draft stock is as high as it can get, or, they can get into those first 100 picks where the money really changes in there. But to your point, you have to have you mentioned the word culture, but really you think about it, culture is really the sum of the relationships in your program. So it really means you have to have the right people in your program. And it means a lot to our program. I mean, Derek King has now chosen us twice. He certainly had a lot of options that he could have gone last year. And I'm pretty certain that any school he would have chosen this time last year, they would have had a really good season. And we know how much he's meant to our season this year. And the fact that he's chosen us again, like I said, that to me means he believes that we can win here. He believes that we're doing the right things here. And he wants to be a part of that. And how cool is that for everybody in this program and everybody associated with UM football?